forgot the microphones. Somebody forgot the tripod. Somebody would forget his head if it wasn't attached, and that is me. Sam, good to see you.
How you doing?
How are you, man?
Good.
We got a lot of exciting stuff to talk about tonight. First of all, let's thank Lindsay, Mackey's wife, for saving the day.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lindsay, bringing us a tripod and some microphones so we could chat with all of you.
If she wouldn't have answered the phone, I could have gone home already.
Yeah, I know. Well, no, Lindsay, yeah, next time, don't answer. We're going to call it a night for sure. There's a lot going on. Of course, Mackie and I and this guy, Michael Limon, we were all out yesterday on the El Patron. We'll talk a little bit about that. When we got in, though, we went up to watch the hockey game up in the bar there at Berth 55. And Jason Lawler came down from the Amigo. And Sam, they looked like, honestly, like dolphin jumping out of the water. It was 150-pound bluefin when they were coming back from.
Who said that?
Jason Lawler showed me the video.
Oh, yes. And
they're coming back from Clemente. So he didn't want to say exactly where it is, but you can figure out that it's somewhere between Clemente and home. And, man, they hooked one. Oh, they hooked three. They got one that was 157, something like that. So that was pretty far up west. And then, I don't know.
What did they hook them on?
They hooked it on 40-pound, and I think they had a surface iron.
Yeah,
like a Taddy
by that
35.
time they probably would have dumped the tanks already.
Yeah, right.
All like bait. Yeah,
right. So they didn't, And then somebody sent me a message today, and I tried to send a message to Diego on the Royal Star. Maybe you're plugged into this or not, but they said that they were at Santa Barbara Island yesterday when we were there. We certainly didn't see them.
The Royal Star?
That's what I hear, and they had a bite on the giant bluefin tuna. Now,
no.
I don't either. I forget who sent me that.
Yeah.
I haven't verified it.
They're like on an 8-day trip right now, so
I think they're trying to. I think they're trying to rub it in on us.
Yeah,
if they're catching whitefish, Yeah. So anyway, we got all that to talk about. We have a ton of questions up on the board already here this evening that Sam and I are looking forward to addressing with you all. What's new with you in your life? How are the kids? Your family?
They're doing good. They're all off of school, so they're enjoying their time off. But yeah, normal stuff there. And, season's starting to get busy here. We're getting busier day to day.
Because fishing's getting better.
Fishing's good everywhere.
Yeah.
I mean, weather's great. It's kind of summer, kind of like hit us like a, like a brick,
Boom.
All of a sudden it's hot every day, feeling good. The AC's running all day long. So definitely a change in the environment.
I was up in the wheelhouse for hours yesterday. And, we had like miles and miles and miles of 69-degree water.
Wow.
It dipped down to 66.
Yeah.
Is all. It got warm. Like you said, summer just kind of hit us just in an instant. Oh, it's a little too close? People are complaining?
Yeah. Well, I'm testing it.
Oh, okay. Mackie is trying to get our microphones all straightened out since I forgot the real mics.
Yeah.
You want to read some comments?
Yeah, let's catch up. We got a way to go here.
All right, Boston Dan says...
Boston Dan.
Boston Dan. Sorry. Thank you, Sam. I'm going to need your help tonight. I really am going to need your help. Hi, all. Hope everyone's having a great Tuesday. Boston Dan, great to have you here. Isaac says, good evening, everyone. Jeff Yeomans, 540 Slingers, good evening. Sam, Phil, and the Friedman Adventures family. Tony Gonzalez. Tony, great to see you, my friend. All you guys, good evening. Everyone, hope you're keeping cool. It's pretty warm out right now, man. Tony Gonzalez. Phil, what's the news about the bluefin tuna? Did they finally get their visas? It's dipped down a little bit here the last couple days, so... It's typical bluefin tuna stuff, right?
Yeah. But I mean, I guess they got some big fish today on the full-day boat or something like that. So
they had one that was around something.
Yeah.
I think the Liberty, somebody sent me a message. They had a 260 or something like that.
And I'm sure they hooked the last a few more.
Yeah.
At least. So it isn't like an isolated fish.
Right. So that is all sounding pretty darn interesting and good. David Betroy says, hello, Phil, Sam, and the Friedman Adventures family. Sipping on my ice-cold Foster. All right, David. Blue skies. Hey, Tony, if you're in OC, you're cooler than we are in the Inland Empire.
Man. It must be cooking out there right now.
Yeah, it's going to be 100 degrees out there. Okay. All right, what's going on here? Are we okay to keep talking?
Yeah.
Oh, are you listening to comments or something? Or
I'm listening to the audio.
Oh, okay, perfect. All right.
Calm down.
Thank God Mackie's here. No, I'm just asking.
What are you doing? Put that back.
No, I'm over here. I just want to know what's going on. I'm sorry. I'm very appreciative, right?
Who took my coffee?
Sometimes. I wish I had some coffee right now. Steve Bermudez, forgive me, dear. I just bought a new reel.
Alrighty.
All right. Congratulations, Steve.
That's one way to break it, I guess.
Yeah. Steve Bermudez, let's get this party started. We're trying, man. It's in spite of me tonight. Blue Skies, I was at Sam's shop this afternoon, and it felt like springtime to me. I'm in Riverside.
We got
Do you know who Blue Skies is?
I think so.
Super good guy.
Yeah. He did mention that he was coming from far away. Yeah.
Oh, awesome. Isaac said, is there no show? We got that going. Hang on, boys and girls. That's me. Carlos, she's waiting. Steve Bermudez, he's still repeating the same line. Tony Gonzalez says, don't worry about it. And Carlos G says, football or Friedman? Here I am. I guess he's there for both. Tony Gonzalez, they are eating chicken wings.
Yeah.
Not yet. Whenever Michael Limon is here, though, that's pretty much a sure thing. Dave Clark, good evening, guys. Looking forward to this week's classroom. Thank you so much, Dave. That will hopefully make us better at our craft, fishing and catching. Sam, a lot of that to you. You do such a great job on the instruction there on Tackle Shop Confessions. And so many people look at this. I mean, a lot of people look at it as entertainment, cheap entertainment. A lot of people look at it as instruction. And a lot of people look at it as both.
Yeah.
Which is what I think our goal is, right?
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, it's always been about, I've been so fortunate to be involved in the industry for so many years, and it's brought me so much joy, and I've been able to kind of learn a lot of things through the years from just the opportunities that it's brought me, So all I'm doing is just sharing what that is. And I don't know everything, and sometimes guys ask me a question and I tell them, I don't know anything about that. But the stuff that I do know, I feel pretty confident about. So anybody that has those questions, usually we can answer them.
Yeah, for sure. Another thing we could talk about also is Mackie and I've been down to Mexico also. A couple last week. So we can talk about the yellows we caught and all kinds of stuff. We'll get into that.
You caught a bunch of them, right?
No, Paulina caught one. He's got video of me with a friggin' bird's nest. Just like, God darn it, I gotta, I'm swearing.
I could have put the money on that one.
Yes, and perfect timing here. Steve Nye says, Phil is messing with the Wi-Fi again. Phil shuts down the internet like he shuts down a bluefin tuna bite. Steve, I love you. Actually, I hate you. Boston Dan, Steve Nye. So that's what happened to the bluefin tuna bite these past couple of days. Tony, that's not cold. That's just Steve. Christopher Bailey says, good evening, gentlemen. Hope everyone is well. This is Chris from Queens Creek, Arizona, I think, or Corn Creek, one of those two. All right, and then let's see. Bob says, of course, it's the first time I try to make this one live from Florida, and it's late and past my bedtime. Bob, I totally relate to you, man. I like getting my beauty sleep every night. Sorry about that, but Sam and I do this every single week, so hopefully you can hang in there for a little bit, and if not, we'll catch you next week again. Scott Dickinson says, can you give me a basic tackle list for my trip on the Amigo this Sunday? I think it's a San Clemente Island overnight trip. Well, Sam, I'll turn that over to you, but now you're going to have to factor in 200-pound bluefin tuna.
Yeah, that's right. So, I mean, you're going to want to start off with definitely the stuff that you would mostly associate with that kind of fishing, which is going to be, 20 to 40-pound test. And what I mean by that is 20, 30, and 40-pound tests. You want to have an outfit for each of those. That's going to cover 95% of it. But like as Phil just said, that tuna's kind of showed up in our waters here. So you want to, if you have it, take one big outfit. If you don't, when you get down to the landing, they do have some stuff for rent down there. And I think it's like, you were talking to Tony, it's $100 a day or something like that.
Right.
And a lot of times, the boats will kind of let you know, hey, look, we're going to try for this tonight. You guys might want to rig that stuff up. And so sometimes you can wait until you get to that point, but you want to ask right when you get to the landing. And usually by that time, the captain is giving the guys in the office some indication as to whether they're going to look for that stuff. But I would say if you had it, I'd bring it for sure. So 20, 30, 40-pound tests. I know that even on that yellowtail, at times they were
60.
Even at times they were finicky.
Right.
So make sure you bring fluorocarbon. Maybe down to 15, but for sure I would say 20, 30, and 40-pound is what I would bring. I know that a couple guys caught some of those yellowtail on jigs. And so sometimes you can get them on heavier line on a jig, whereas maybe they're finicky on bait. So if you have a jig stick, I'd bring that too. So you're looking at a 20-pound rod, 30-pound rod, 40-pound rod, a jig rod, and maybe a heavy rod. As far as your hook sizes, you're going to want to do everything from maybe a size 2 to maybe a size 3.0 J hook for that yellowtail. if they do target that bluefin, if it starts showing up in the daytime, which I think is kind of any day now, you might want to bring some size 4 Mutu hooks, some of those blacktail hooks, and a size 4 and maybe a size 6 even, up to about maybe a size 1.0. And then you might want to include a little bit heavier duty 1.0 or 2.0 circle hook in case some of that fish starts to bite the sinker rig as well. And that'd probably be taken care of by that heavy rig. If you bring that heavy rig for your nighttime flat fall fishing, you might bring some like 80-pound fluorocarbon. That might take care of that. So it's quite a bit of stuff, that you got to bring. I think from what I've seen, I don't know about you, Phil, it really seems like they haven't done a whole lot of that sea bass halibut fishing as much as it was maybe a month ago.
Yeah.
It's still maybe part of the equation, but
a little bit. Jason was saying in the morning, he said making squid's not a problem, Eric Clementi. They're dropper looping for big yellows.
Yeah.
And then, like you said, in the afternoon, they're fly line and deans, and sometimes they're finicky. But he said
interesting how like that squid showed up, and you think, okay, well, sea bass are going to start biting.
Right,
and
right.
Actually, they were biting pretty good before that. Even all that halibut they got was before
that's right.
Squid too. So you're going to want to probably add some squid hooks to that too. So some of those Aki Twist 4.0 to 6.0 size, any of those sizes will probably work, but you want to add those in too.
All right, good stuff. Yeah, and Jason was saying, that squid, he said those yellows are up to 40 pounds. Like that dropper loop fish is 25 to 40, and he said they bite in the 60. Then you get into the afternoon, you switch over to sardine, and you're fishing lighter stuff. So, man, we've been saying it all season long. Bring the kitchen sink.
Yeah, for that dropper loop stuff, probably 4 to, I would say, 10-ounce torpedo sinkers.
Yep.
And, one heavy rod, too. I mean, I probably would bring at least a 50-pound rod, too. I mean, if they're going to eat it, you want to feed it to them for sure.
Definitely. All right, Chad Christopher. Hey, Chad, great to see you. Good evening to the Friedman Adventure family. Listen to these pros. They will help you land a fish of a lifetime. Their knowledge they have is amazing. Thank you, Sam and Phil. And thank you, Chad, for a great barbecue. I went over to his place on Sunday. Man, oh, man, the freaking tomahawk steaks and the sushi. And he made all this stuff. What a spread that was. That was a lot of fun with a lot of great guests over there. Had a really good time. I call them OGA, Original Gangster Anglers. Woo! Wow. That might be our new, whatever it is, moniker.
Shirt brand, maybe.
Yeah. Real-time fishing, saying to Scott Dickinson, check out a Benji Kim video with Sam. They describe a kit you can buy from Sam. Great info. Sam?
That was a great video, too. Yeah, Benji Kim, they came down with Anthony, and I used to work at Ceylon, and we put together a nice little video on island fishing, kind of more like Catalina Island, but also would cover some of the stuff you would do at San Clemente. And we did have a special a box that we put together at a big discount. In fact, Doug came down and bought that. So it was going to be the first guy to come in and mention the video. They're going to be able to buy that at like $100 off.
And Doug saw it?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Doug saw the video that morning at 8 o'clock and came right in.
That's awesome. He's a great guy. Yeah, that's awesome.
He said he was going to give it to, but he said to give it to you.
Oh.
To give to.
We'll talk about that later. Yeah. There was a reel involved in
that. A reel, too.
That's right, something went on with that. Yeah. I don't know what that's all about. We'll figure it out, I'm sure. All right, Steve Nyes. I think Phil forgot to charge his laptop battery. Yeah, that's probably it. Hey, Steve, screw off. Good thing SoCal Wings is open till 10 p.m. Are they open till 10?
I think so.
Yeah, get in here and buy tonight. Scott Butcher from Alaska. Scott, it is so great to hear from you. How are they getting them yellowtail at Clemente?
On the squid.
We kind of talked about that, Scott. I'm sure you're listening. I hope
you're kind of everywhere, really.
Yeah, Scott, and it was good. Scott had a nice halibut the other day. I don't know if you saw that. Yeah. I posted a photo. Yeah, it looked like a 40-pounder or something like that. So cool. Good job. Scott Bucher has another insightful question. What are the best way to get the bluefin tuna?
You got to be on the right boat at the right time, man. Yeah, that's a tough one.
Scott, great questions that I don't know. You must be really working hard at this. I don't think we've ever heard questions like that from Scott before, have we?
That's a tough one to answer.
Next one's going to be, what's a good jig for wahoo?
Yeah.
I swear to God, if that's in there, I'm going to flip out. Christopher Bailey. Hi, Sam and Phil. Hey, Christopher. Good to see you, my friend. I have a question. I'm on a tight budget. I seen the Penn Fathom 280. Would that reel be sufficient to take out on the sport fishing boats to handle the bigger fish? Chris, I turn you over to Sam.
Yeah, Chris. I mean, that's definitely gonna be on the borderline. I think you're not in bad shape for sure. That's a nice big reel. It's got a lot of line capacity. It has this nice low gear. I think it's like a 1.7 or 1.3 to 1 low gear, so that's pretty good too. And it's been proven a proven reel, so that'd be a good one to check out. You also might want to look at the Shimano Speedmaster 25, similar size as well. And I think it's the same exact price. I think they're about $350. So those are the two that I would check out. But past that, you might even look at a used reel. You know, we have some here. I know a lot of shops carry used reels, but a TLD 32 speed, even an old International 30 would be just fine. And if you buy the right one and it's in decent shape, you can get those for about $300 to $350, about the same price, and it's a little bit more sturdy reel. So I'd probably search out one of those if you want to have something that's kind of a little bit more over the top as far as being something that's sufficient and not too expensive.
Carlos G says, amigos. Jamás amigos, hermanos, Carlos. Primos.
Así es.
¿Qué onda, primo? All right, 540 Slinger. Chase Fisher got a 150-pound blue. He got the 100. But Chase, job, buddy. That's a nice fish, huh? Yeah, in fact, he said Mark Sonata. You know Mark? Sonata, he said he put Sonata. Yeah, he put the glasses up and he goes, guys, just get the heaviest stuff you've got. You know, guys are like, with 40-pound, he goes, that's not going to work.
Yeah.
You know, but
that must have been a scene catching that fish. Well, you got the video.
I got the video. I'll play that tomorrow. We'll run it in a short. It's pretty cool because it seriously does look like dolphin jumping out of the water. Yeah. It's huge, man. All right, thank you so much, Jeff. Appreciate that. Ruben Castaneda. Good evening, Phil and Sam and Miguel. He says, Michael. Good to see you, Ruben. Thanks for joining us. Tab Benson. Sam, do you carry the Daiwa Saltiga TG tungsten jigs?
No, we don't. You know, that's a jig that's been kind of getting a lot of play lately. It's been a hot jig. It's a tungsten jig from Daiwa. It's the TG bait jig. Now that jig is a jig that Daiwa makes, but they only sell to other markets, so it's not available to for us to buy through our Daiwa USA distribution channels. So if you want to get one of those, I think you got to get them through Amazon or something like that. So. From what I heard, they said they were going to try to bring some over. As to when they'll get here or not, I don't know. There are some other tungsten jigs that I think are going to be coming down the pipe. I think Jig Power has one, and I know there's a few out there that you can get, but specifically that Daiwa Saltiga is something that is only available through maybe like Amazon or something like that, eBay or something.
All right, very good. Thank you so much, David Jimenez. Says feel better. Phil, Sam, great shows with Benji and Anthony. Getting rave reviews on that, Sam.
It's the best show I've ever done.
It's not saying much.
That's not, yeah, pretty low bar. Pretty low bar.
All right, help me out here. Eric, like Huya?
Like, whoa.
Oh, Eric, like, whoa. Hey, Sam, any experience with Odyssey braid or reaction tackle braid specifically? Looking for some good 30-pound braid in a pink color.
You know, we do carry the Odyssey braid, not the reaction tackle braid, but it's been good for us. We've been spooling that for a few years now, probably 5 or 6 years now since it came out. It's been good. I don't know. I don't think I have any in pink from them. I think they do make it in pink, but I don't have it in pink here in the shop. But the Odyssey has been great.
All right, very good. Thank you so much. Great question. AJ says, what's up, Phil? Hey, good to hear from you. That guy lives down there in Tijuana, Baja California Norte. It's always great to hear from him. Scott Bugert retracts a message. Must have been some filth, and now he's back again. Hi, Sam, Phil, Michael, Mac, and Dan. Scott, you covered it all. That's very good. Damon says, Dealer Lures, thanks again for the support. Question, I have guys at my job that are interested in fishing. What two setups would you recommend for a 40 and 80-pound setup?
So that's that's Damon that owns Dealer Lures. I don't know if we showed those off the other day.
Yeah, I think we did. Yeah.
Again, those were really good surface iron jigs. He works down at the refinery, and a lot of those guys are kind of getting into fishing.
Nice.
You know, for what you're talking about, 40 and 80-pound, I'm assuming you're talking tuna fishing. I know Damon does a couple of tuna trips. I probably would be looking at either the Fathom 25 Narrow or the Speedmaster 12 for your 40-pound outfit. And the 80-pound outfit, I would probably do the Speedmaster 20 or the Fathom 40 narrow. And then as far as a rod, I probably would recommend something in like a 7 to 8 foot, 30 to 60 for that 40 pound. And then same kind of length, 7 to 8 foot, in more like a 40 to 100 in that 80-pound setup.
All right, thank you so much, Damon. Halibut man, that's our friend Mitchell. Michael is hiding behind the Promar hat like a groundhog.
Yeah, you can barely see him.
Yeah, you're a little too low. Is there some way to do something about that?
You can stand up.
No, you don't want to stand, though, do you? Sorry, Mitchell. He's not going to do anything about it. Mackie says, hey, Scott, Bugert, you got a fan with Mackie here. Halibut man, what's up? Sam, Michael, Phil, Dan, and can't forget Mackie. Of course, Mackie the Magnificent, the savior. You had your biggest fan, Abe, on the boat with us.
Yeah.
Man, this guy worships at his
Really?
feet. Yes.
Well, who wouldn't? Once you get to meet him.
That's true. Well,
Yeah.
have you smelled his feet? Man, it's not nice to worship it, though. Let me tell you. All right, Carlos G says, Sam, Phil, I need your help. Every time I try to cut down on how many jigs to take, I always keep putting everything back in my bag. Bag's way too heavy. How many jigs should I take for a 2-day trip?
As many as you can carry, I guess. Yeah, that's a tough one, this year's like small profile jigs. Last year was, big jigs. The year before that was another jig, Now these TG jigs or the tungsten jigs, by nature, those are heavier for the size. And so that's going to add, now, if you can get some of those, that's going to add a few pounds to your bag already. So yeah, on a 2-day trip, I mean, my experience over the years is you don't really lose a whole lot of jigs. You might lose a couple, but not too many. Luckily this year, there doesn't really seem to be like a dominant one size or color. I know a lot of guys talk about the small profile jigs, the West Coast jiggers, and that kind of stuff, and those do work well. And if you can get your hands on those, you will catch fish. But the jigs you've already been using, your SK jig, 300 gram, your 400 gram rip rollers and things like that, guys have been catching plenty of fish on that too. So, I wouldn't go too crazy. The way I usually try to help people out as far as figuring out what they're going to take is take maybe 2 of every kind of size, a 200, a 300, and a 400, 2 of each one, and maybe one that's darker and one that's lighter. That should probably get you through a 2-day trip, no problem. I know you'll probably take more than that, but that's a very, at the very base, you want to have that. And then maybe add one more if you have a favorite jig, because, yeah, it can get pretty heavy. Another thing you could do, like a lot of guys do, is they take a separate container for just those knife jigs. You keep them kind of segregated from your tackle, and it also keeps that stuff kind of organized with your assist hooks and your maybe split ring pliers and split rings and things like that. So I think if you do it that way, you might be able to kind of separate your tackle and make it easier to carry.
All right. Yeah. Do you think it's a marketing thing, or do you think the fish actually bite different jigs, or do you think it's a marketing thing? Guys are marketing the jig better, therefore people think they want
I think calling it a marketing thing is a little bit misleading in the sense that, it would lead someone to believe that we're being tricked.
Yeah. No, I don't mean that. I mean that let's just take jig A and B. They both work equally as well, but A is marketing better than everybody wants.
No, well, there is some of that for sure. I mean, and I don't think so much it is marketing as it is now through social media. I think social media is able to produce definitely that need or that feeling of needing.
Some people would call that marketing.
Well, but it's not in the same way that like Nike would put out, like would pay like Michael Jordan to advertise for them. It's
Right.
Usually maybe some guy like a nobody that has a channel, that might put out a picture of something, and that might catch a little bit of wildfire that way. So it's not in the same way marketing, not something that's coming from the company. Usually I would look at it that way as marketing. I think viral social media is a little bit different than marketing, even though sometimes it can come from a company. I think in general, just social media in general has kind of changed the way we think about things, and we got to have everything. We got to have every single different angle. I get guys all the time, that want to make sure that they have every possible situation covered, and it's like, man, you got to kind of slow it down a little bit, because some guys buy so much tackle they can't even go fishing anymore, So I think it's definitely important to kind of control what you're going to take, not only just so you don't spend too much money, but also when you get to that point of your fishing trip, you're not overwhelmed by the amount of choices you have in your tackle box too.
Right.
So making it simpler, I think, is going to be more important, so that when you do have to decide what you're going to do, you're not going too crazy. But so yeah, I mean, so I don't know if I answered the question about marketing, but So, but I think it's a
Close.
little different than that. Yeah.
All right, hey, over 100 people watching. That's been pretty steady here tonight. Mackie says, "What's up, Mitchell?" Scott Buchert says, "Hi, Mackie." Everybody's saying hello to one another.
Right.
Steve Den says, "Good evening,
You, huh?
Phil, Sam, Michael.
Jealous this guy.
Have you guys ever fished on the Relentless?" I have.
I
You?
haven't.
Okay, so I fished with Mikey last year, I believe, last fall. Enjoyed it very much. Mikey worked hard. His crew was great. We had a really good time. I believe that's the old Top Gun 80. So, yeah, we had a really good time. Mikey's a good guy. Enjoyed my time out there with him, Steve, for sure. Scott Buchert's accusing you of messing around in the background.
No, I'm just fishing.
Oh, yeah, he's doing the fishing game on
Fishing
his
game,
phone.
huh?
Yeah. That's how scintillating we are tonight. All right. Halibut Man. Mackie, did you get any fishing done on your guys' last trip?
But I answered him.
Yeah, okay. He answered you on there. All right, AJ, I'll read the answer in a second. Gonna go out with Arnie sport fishing Thursday in Ensenada. I love Arnie. Tell him don't eat too many
nice.
palomitas, not too much popcorn. Been itching to throw some surface irons. AJ, good luck, man. Arnie is a great fisherman, a really cool guy, and I'm sure he's going to put you right in the middle of those yellows down there in Ensenada, and they're not far outside at all. They were like a 15-minute run before we found one big school up on the surface. So best of luck to you. Shoot some photos and video and send them our way if you can. And Arnie, again, really, really super good guy. Bob says, I wonder if they take some of that squid from the island outside of that, tuna will eat it. Yeah, tuna will eat squid.
Yeah.
Jason mentioned, he said that the sardines, that when they opened that one big bluefin, he said they were like the biggest sardines he's ever seen. Huge and just, there's nothing like you see in the bait.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that tuna kind of eats everything it can. I know that 8 years ago when the tuna first showed up, I know that one of those years that the squid was around, and that was kind of a thing to do. We were actually selling a bunch of glow sinkers and hooks for fishing squid, and that was really common late in the season that year. So, yeah, I mean, right now that we're getting that squid, I don't see why they wouldn't. Usually that stuff was biting when that tuna was around some of those high spots, and they were kind of tight to those high spots, not so much in that open water area, but I don't see why it wouldn't work. Excuse me.
Why, it wouldn't work? The squid? Yeah, for sure. Are you catching my stuff?
I think so.
Oh,
Get
no.
some water.
All right. Sam's going to run off and do that. Gives me an opportunity to talk to you about Ventura sport fishing up there in the beautiful city of where else? Ventura, California. And we have the Island Spirit up there, Daniel Hadaway. Talked to him live today. They were running on some white sea bass schools and seeing them visually. In other words, he's looking out the window of the wheelhouse down into the water and see a big school of sea bass swimming around. That is always really exciting stuff. You can join Daniel this Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday when kids 12 and under fish for free with a paid adult by calling 805-676-3474 or visiting VenturaSportfishing.com. And also the El Patron out of Long Beach Sport Fishing has several great trips awaiting you out of Long Beach Sport Fishing. You can book a trip on the El Patron by going to www.longbeachsportfishing.org. Get on the El Patron. All right, Sam, you okay?
I'm
You
good.
didn't choke to death or anything?
No.
All right, let's see. Mackie says, no, he couldn't fish. He didn't want you guys to go overboard. I was hoping just the other way. He was
Yeah.
going to push you over. What I was hoping for. All right, Felix Villalor wants to order a Black Hole Cape Cod special jigging 350-gram 52B conventional rod. You're laughing because of all the numbers. Would that jigging rod be sufficient for the big grade fish that are coming out right now at night?
Yeah, that's a tough one there, Felix. I mean, I know that those black hole rods are a little softer than maybe some of the United Composite rods that have been coming out, but I know some guys really like those. You know, I don't have a whole lot of experience with those blanks in general or those rods in general, the Black Hole brand, but I know some guys like those. I feel like you want to go with almost as heavy a rod as possible. I mean, any day you go out, your chance of hooking a 250 pounder is pretty strong. So, you know, if if you're going to have that rod, I would also recommend you have just a regular rail rod, because I think that some of these fish that these guys are getting are just giants, man. I mean, United Composites actually just came out.
Yeah, they're pushing 300 pounds, some of these fish, man.
They just came out with a new series of blanks that kind of just to address this. So these are jigging blanks. They're somewhat controversial in the sense that they are not the traditional jigging blank. So it's a West Coast style jigging blank. It's something that they came out with for the way that we have to fight fish on a tall boat, versus other parts of the world that you're on a private boat or a lower boat. And so you might want to give these a try. They're just a blank. They're not a completed rod. So I know you're looking for a rod there, but this might be something you might look for. It's not the conventional jigging rod like some of those other ones are. So they may not move a jig the same way, but a lot of times you're going to have to kind of sacrifice a little bit of jig action for a little bit more fish fighting help. They're not a rail rod either, but they're kind of leaning towards somewhat of a rail rod tendency. So might be something you might want to check out. If not, I think Cape Cod just came out with another heavier jigging rod as well. You might want to check that one out as well too. So, but I would still, with the size of the fish they're getting almost 300 pounds.
Jeez,
amazing. You're gonna have to probably get something that just is a little bit bigger. But if you want to give it a try, it would be an awesome achievement to catch one on one of those rods.
Felix, do it, man. You can do it. Still well over 100 people. Halibut Man Mitchell says, yeah, especially with the Three Stooges all running around on that trip, which Michael, after watching several Three Stooges episodes with me, will take as something positive, right? Yes, I agree with you. The Three Stooges, greatest comedians who ever lived. All right, Ruben, Felix says, what reel do you recommend?
Yeah, on that rod.
Not too pricey.
Not too pricey. That's a tough one. You get into these big fish. When you're saying big grade fish, I mean, we're talking fish over 200 pounds. There's not a lot of reels that I would consider not pricey. That would consider that not pricey. That's all relative to whatever you think that is. But I would say you're probably going to be into maybe at least a 2-speed if you could. I know some of these other jigging reels, jigging masters, those kind of things are like $1,000 or more. You might consider maybe getting like the reel that we were mentioning earlier, maybe that 80 Fathom, or maybe that Speedmaster 20. That might do the job. You might want to upgrade the handle on those and get a little bit bigger handle. But that's probably going to be your lowest entry on a reel that can handle a bigger fish and still be kind of narrow enough to jig.
All right, perfect. Thank you so much, Felix. Ruben Castaneda. Hey, Sam and Phil, what's your take on how death sticks are banned from every public place, but are still allowed on sport boats around young lungs like Michael and the elderly? I think he's talking about cigarillos, right? Yeah. What do you think?
I mean, I don't think it's any different. I don't think you can smoke inside of a galley.
Right.
And you can smoke outside. I mean, I know some places are off limits, but I guess I don't have a strong opinion about that.
Yeah, I mean, as long as you're not blowing in the kid's face, I guess. I mean, if you stand in the stern and it just blows out.
I'm sure if you were chasing the kid around and blowing it in his face, that wouldn't be cool. But, on the open ocean there, I mean, this stuff kind of dissipates pretty dang quickly.
Yeah.
And it kind of goes in one direction. So as long as somebody's considerate, and not doing it right next to a kid or something like that, I think, it's not going to go the, opposite way against the wind. So.
Yeah, I agree with Sam. However, Ruben, and I think Sam would agree with this, that I think your question surmises your concern for kids, and we admire you for that for sure, right? Mm-hmm. But I think, everybody's okay. Hey, I'm a clairvoyant, man. You see Scott's question?
Yeah.
How to get a wahoo?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
He heard
Sam.
you.
Yeah, did he? Or I don't think so. I think that was up there maybe. All right, Scott, you get a wahoo by going on an 8-day trip on the Independence in November.
Fish market.
You can get them at the fish market.
Yeah.
I think Costco has them sometimes.
Wahoo's Fish Tacos, maybe?
Wahoo's Fish Tacos. My buddy, man, I'm out of it. I can't remember the guy who owns that place, but he's a cool guy.
Yeah, he is a cool guy.
God darn it. Wing Lamb. Wing, if you're listening, Wahoo's Fish Taco, baby. He owns the whole thing, so he's a good guy. All right, see? I got it.
I'm seeing.
All right, Ruben Castaneda, nothing worse than trying to fish hard and having to breathe in that secondhand cancer-causing caca because of one rude person with issues. Yeah, I get that. If they're blowing it in your face, Ruben, I certainly understand that. And it would be better for everybody, including the guy smoking that crap, to stop. But, we live in a free country.
Yeah.
As long as you don't screw with somebody else. You
It
know.
doesn't bother me so much. I mean, but if you see someone lighting one up, you can just get out of their way. I guess not too big a deal.
Yeah. Hopefully, we can work that all out. Can't we all just get along together? Christopher Bailey, Sam, that's awesome. Thanks for letting me know.
You're welcome.
What's that
I
about?
forget.
Yeah, me too. All right, Robert O'Brien,
Look it up.
death sticks, LOL. Death sticks. Yeah, we used to call them cough sticks, death sticks. Did you ever
Oh.
smoke, Dan?
Tight budget.
Never smoked.
Dan never smoked. You look like a guy that would smoke. I don't know why I say that, but
Even the voice, huh? The voice is like a smoker's voice.
I was that guy in the boat. You're fishing that guy in this size that you light it up. And I think,
he didn't like the smoke either.
Yeah,
There you are. Well, I'll tell you. You know, remember when you could smoke everywhere, like in hockey games? And
Anywhere, yeah.
yeah, it was a. I think I'm pretty sure my mom was smoking with us in the car. I'm pretty sure she was
Yeah.
doing that. Yeah. All right, Mom, why did you do that to us? David Olmstead, I'm booked for the Ocean Odyssey
Nice.
for a 2.5-day bluefin trip mid-July. Can you talk about fish count limits on these mid-length trips, and also what other target species we may go after? Love the show. David, thank you so much for joining us. I think it's going to be 4 bluefin on a 2.5-day,
Yeah, I
right?
think it depends on what time they leave.
Yeah,
Those 2.5 days leave in the morning, and I think they get a little bit.
they get another limit of
Third
fish.
day, I think. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
but I'm sure the boat will let you know exactly what you can keep.
And I'm guessing, David, you could be going after anything from kelp patty yellowtail to island yellowtail to island sea bass to rock cod, on the 60-mile bank. All those things are in play, right, Sam?
A lot of those boats have been doing that. They've been stopping on the 60 and
Yeah.
loading them on some rock cod. So I would say for sure tuna, for sure maybe some kelp patty yellows, and for sure rock cod. Everything else is kind of like you never know, but those 3 things for sure.
All right, perfect. And Matt, thanks for joining us. Matt Martin is here. He says, hi, guys. Great show. Thank you so much, Matt. Question for Sam. How do you rig for white sea bass in the surf? Thank you,
That's a
Matt.
tough one. You really don't catch those too much in the surf, so I don't have a good way of saying of commenting on that. I think that you might want to, if you wanted to try to get one, maybe just fish those lucky crafts. I know those things seem to catch everything. They'll catch, striped bass. Obviously, they'll catch halibut and an occasional white sea bass. The white sea bass, even though they are a coastal species, just not something you see a lot caught in the surf at all. You might try some of those white flukes. You're probably going to have to use a little bit longer rod to try to get a little bit more coverage, but not something that honestly down here at least that I've seen a whole lot of guys catching the surf.
Guys, I see catching them up there at Rocky and
Yeah.
stuff like that.
I mean, I've caught some
Yeah, I have too, like
drop
that.
shot, but I've caught some that are nice size,
Yeah.
but not to where I can say, oh yeah, I go to my sea bass spot
Right.
and rope them. No,
Yeah.
this is not something that really happens too often, Matthew. If you figure it out, let me know, man.
Well, man, I'll tell you, it's pretty good down there on the beach where you can see the Cedros Lighthouse.
I know I have some customers that do fish along some of the rocky kind of cliffs where it's kind of hard to get to. I probably
Right.
wouldn't even recommend going
Right.
unless you're in pretty good health, because getting backed up is usually going to be the problem. But I know some of those guys do pretty good down there, fishing a variety of stick baits and plastics, but not really something that I would consider the rigging to be a part of the answer. It's kind of going somewhere that's really hard to get to.
So Mackie, I know not white sea bass, pez blancas, whitefish. He
Uh-huh.
says he was down in Abalone Cove, and whitefish were jumping out of the water.
They were.
Ask him.
Wow.
Yeah. After he
I believe it.
he found some mushrooms in the grass and he ate some, and then he went down and saw all kinds of stuff jumping out of the water. No, he did. Is that true? Yeah. He's shaking his head. Yeah. See?
I don't see why not.
I don't either. All right. Hey, here it is. Cool Granddaddy forever. You damn right. Mackie the man. He loves you. You want to say anything to Abe? Blow him a kiss? Do anything like that, Mackie? Nothing for you, Abe. Nothing. Not even a thank you. Man, you want to switch over to me? I'll thank you if I get a comment like that. Raul Alvarez. Phil, Sam, good evening. I was in your shop Saturday to buy a power handle for my Torque 40 and ended up buying a 310 CXJ 6,550,201. I have an Ocean Jigger 4,000 to pair it with. What reel would fit it best?
That's the one that I have on my 6005. I feel like it's been good so far. I caught a couple nice fish on it already. I know some guys do like a little bit more more powerful reel, I guess you can call it. Maybe something that has a 2-speed. Some guys will fish that Talico 20 or that even your Torque 40 that you were brought in to put the handle on it. Would be a good candidate for that. Anything in that size, that Daiwa Saltiga 55 has been kind of a popular reel for some of these bigger fish. But the one that you have, I think, is pretty good. The only thing I would change, maybe if these big fish continue to bite, is maybe get something with a 2-speed.
What do you mean if they continue? They're going to bite all year, man, right through the
I don't
new
see
year.
them stopping, really.
I don't either.
Yeah.
It's pretty wild. Ruben A says, eating some Sea of Cortez yellowtail and enjoying the show, guys. Keep up the good work, Ruben. Provecho. Enjoy that Jurel. I hope you are enjoying it. And Abe is back again. Cool Granddaddy Sweets forever. And don't forget Michael Limon helping with the deck, running our fish to the back, passing out donuts, and always willing to lend a hand. Please stand up and take a bow.
And playing
for
with the
Abe.
bait, right?
What a nice man. Abe, take a bow.
What about playing with the bait?
And play. Oh, you got busted for playing with the bait?
I wasn't playing with the bait.
What were you doing? What
He
were
was-
you playing
He
with?
was grabbing it from one well, throwing them into the other, then throwing it back.
You were?
Nope.
Oh, my God. Cool, Grand. You know Abe? You know what we're talking about? Super great guy, right? In fact, Abe bought you a hamburger, didn't he?
Yeah.
That was nice of him,
There
right?
Thank you, Abe.
There you go, Michael. Woo, give me 5. Hey, Abe, thank you so much. Always good to see you here. All right, Glenn Del Mendo. Phil and Sam, great show as usual. Thank you so much, Glenn. What's your thought on using a short top shot, 20 feet of Eisner line in between your braid and your 200-pound leader, or would you tie straight from the braid to the leader? Excellent question, Glenn.
Glenn's a good dude.
Glenn's a good guy, I can tell.
Yeah, he's a retired police officer.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, down El Segundo. Super good guy.
Thanks for
Fish-
joining us, Glenn.
Yeah, he can fish, this guy. I will tell you, Glenn, I know he hasn't done a lot of this big fish fishing, but I personally just tie direct to the bite leader. Haven't found any real problem with that. Although I know in past shows I've mentioned about putting a little stretch of 100-pound, and I kind of still feel like that's not the worst idea. The reason that I do it though isn't so much for stretch. It's actually going to be for kind of an alarm to tell me that jig is coming up. And what I mean by that is that a lot of times you're winding real fast. Maybe the captain says, "All right, guys, wind them up. We're gonna go to the next spot." You're winding real fast, trying to get that jig up, and you get distracted. And all of a sudden, the swivel just bam hits your tip, and so that's a good way to kind of bust your tip or chip it and kind of knock that rod out of commission. So seeing as that on most of these trips you may only have one or maybe two of these heavy rods, you just don't have a lot of backups or a lot of solutions for if you do bust that tip. So if you put on some 100-pound, maybe call it 50 feet or something like that, it gives you pretty good warning, letting you know that that swivel's on its way up. So that's probably the only reason I would do it. Other than that, I've had plenty of luck on tying direct to the bite leader. Just want to be really aware of when the jig is getting close to the boat that you don't wind the swivel right into the tip.
Hundreds of people watching. Thank you all so very much, Sam and I and Mackie and everybody here. Really, really appreciate all of you.
How many hundreds?
Huh?
How many hundreds?
Millions of hundreds. It's so many that I can't say.
You don't want to even say.
No, I can't say it. There's many things I can't say, and that's one of them. Scott Dickinson.
No, Sarkis.
Oh, really? What about the guy?
Scott. I'm sorry. Yeah,
No problem.
I skipped forward.
Scott Dickinson. The crew of the Legend is saying 16-ounce torpedo sinkers with 9.0 assist hooks have been getting the job done.
They are right. So that's the Eddie Bomb. I can go grab one of those.
Yeah, the Eddie Bomb, which looks like it would never, ever work. But, man, they developed that on the Royal Polaris, if I'm right. Is that right, Sam? I think that's where they first came out with it.
That like button.
Yeah, hit that like button, everybody. We would appreciate it if you do that, as Sam is going to show you the Eddie Bomb.
So we kind of rigged up here with just a treble hook here. This is actually a 20-ounce one here. But we sell these in the store. It's probably one of our more popular lures. Doesn't look like a lure there. We also have the longer one, kind of the longer version of it. This is actually a 16-ouncer here. Kind of looks more like a jig, I guess. But you can definitely add assist hooks to it, or you can remove the treble from the bottom and add some assist hooks to it instead of it. Whatever you want to do, it seems to all work pretty good. But yeah, that continues to be, along with all of the the jig of the week that you can't buy, you can't get, or they ran out of, or the color, they don't have the right color, and that kind of stuff. That's been working, but also just a plain piece of lead has been working too.
I know, it's wild, right?
Yeah, I think like that's more marketing. When you look at that, I mean, it's
Right.
That's like after all that, we go through all this trouble and
Color.
we get phone calls, all day long. Do you have this? Do you have this? And it's almost like people feel like they can't go fishing unless they have that one lure
And this thing.
or a sinker. Yeah, just a sinker or a bear hook. Yeah.
That's so true, man. It's so true. All right, good stuff. Scott, thank you so much for the heads up there. Sarkis, thank you so much for joining us. Hello, gentlemen. Any thoughts on the Phoenix Megalodon?
Yeah, those are great rods. That's kind of was one of the original rods that a lot of guys were using out here, mainly because it's something that we can get locally. Now there's a few different rods. United Composites is making them, and other companies too. In fact, the 310 RodWorks rods that we were showing off here
Last
week, we sold almost all of them actually.
Oh, really?
I need to get some more. Yeah,
Great.
so that's been great too. But those Megalodon rods have been around for a long time. They have a 607, actually 606, 607, 608, 609. All those are the most popular ones, with probably the 608 being the most popular of all of them. And a close second would be that 609. But those have been really good. We've sold tons of those, and a lot of guys have caught a lot of nice fish on them.
All right, very good. Thank you all for watching. Still up well over 100 viewers tonight. It's been very, very steady, and we thank you all for that. Hit that like button if you get a chance. Reggie Wynn. Hey, Reggie. Good to see you. Mr. Frieman, where can I read up on you and your history? The police logs have that stuff, most of it. I used to work at Turner's in the early 90s and remember you doing 976 tuna. Hey, Reggie, I'm going to give you my phone number. Send me a text. My kids actually did an interview with me, a couple of interviews, and we went through a lot of the history, including my early years and where I went to grammar school and when I was a missionary in Costa Rica and Mexico and teaching in China, and also all the fishing stuff, including commercial fishing and everything else. So it's 657-227-6459. Just send me a text, Reggie. I won't get to it probably till tomorrow, but I'll find those videos, and they're on YouTube, and I'll send them to you. And we'll start there, and then we'll see what we can do. Thank you so much. Tony Gonzalez. Phil, you having pissing fun?
Yes, you are.
Always, Tony. Don't even doubt it, man. I have pissing fun. I better not say that, but yes, definitely. Kim Herbert. Hey, Kim, it is always great to see you. Enjoyed my trip on the Tribute, mostly Big Bonito, wrong moon face. Still had a great trip. Lindsay broke in her new rod with a 13-pound Bonito. That's a big one, Sam.
Yeah.
Beautiful fish. Always great to hear from you, Kim, and Lindsay. Reggie went, and also please tell Sam I said hi. We go way back. You remember Reggie?
Yeah, I worked with them at Turner's.
Oh, you're kidding?
Yeah, that was like 30 years ago or something.
Wow. Wow. Small world.
Not
Thanks.
that old, are you?
Yeah, 50 years old almost. Yeah.
Thank you, Reggie. Robert Slager. Sam, what knot do you use for 100-pound mono? Have you heard of the Century knot? Is it Century?
I have heard of that knot. There is a few knots that guys use. I still use the old San Diego knot. I do really good with that. I know some guys use a tri-lead knot. There's that Joe Miller knot. There's a couple different knots out there that are pretty good, but I still use the San Diego knot.
Joe Miller knot. Yeah, I got.
Yeah.
Oh no. Who's the guy's hat I have? Joe something. Huh?
Joe Miller.
It is Joe Miller.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. He sent me some USA hats. I'm going to wear on the 4th of July.
All right.
Joe, thank you so very much. My wife stole. I hope she didn't take them both. She got one of them. I know that. Very proud to become an American citizen here, Ruth. Pretty soon, right around the corner, I'm hoping.
Cool.
All right. Ruben. Is that where we are? Yeah. Ruben Castaneda. Not if you're at the rail next to someone smoking on a boat moving. Everyone will definitely be breathing it in.
That's not moving.
On a boat that's not moving. That's very true, Ruben. Yes, that is not cool. Albert Ponce. Buenas noches, señores. Glad to see you're doing better, Phil. Oh, Albert, I'm not doing better. I need your love and concern. Thank you so much, Albert. Really appreciate it. Cue ball, everybody. Phil, Sam, Sam, I saw you met my buddy Anthony from Akuma.
Yeah.
Does a lot of fishing with him. Good stuff. Great video.
That was a
Cue
great
ball.
video, wasn't it?
I'm
You got to
saying
watch it.
I'm send it to me, or where do I find it?
Oh, it's
Tell
gonna,
everybody where to find it.
it's gonna come up on your feed. It's so popular. I mean, yeah.
It's been on
And
the
you're in
news.
it?
Oh yeah. It's been
And
in
it's
the news.
popular?
Oh, super popular.
Oh my god, I don't get that.
So good. So good.
All right, well, we'll check it out.
Yeah,
For sure.
Benji. It's actually Benji Kim's channel.
Oh.
Yeah. So it's on his channel. We did a video on.
So do you search Benji Kim or does
Benji
he?
Kim? Yeah, BenjiJie. Yeah, Benji Kim.
Benji Kim, everybody, check
Everybody
it
go
out.
there now and watch it.
Yeah, please. If that gets us out of here, I'm in. All right, cool, Granddaddy forever. The way I see it is, if I got to smell exhaust from cars in industry, that boy, we're getting into a whole thing here. Everyone enjoys them. They can smell my vape, and
Woo.
what's that mean?
Shut the hell up.
Oh, okay, but quitting. I'm already too close to the finish line. Cool, Granddaddy. Throwing down the gauntlet. Let's relax, everybody. We shouldn't have to avoid someone on the boat. Oh my God. All right, boys, calm down. All right, take a cigarette break and relax for a second. Angel Melgar, how should I spool a Penn International 16 Visix?
100-pound braid, full to the top. If you're going to be doing that jigging with it, just do that colored stuff. Line has it, and also Odyssey.
All right, Albert Ponce is going to Ensenada this weekend and fishing with Blackfin Sport Fishing for 2 days. Give my best to Victor.
They're going to get them.
And everybody down there at Blackfin. Love those guys. Albert, you were the one who introduced me to those guys, and I'm very appreciative to you for doing so. And hopefully you'll be able to shoot me some video or something from down there. Hopefully you'll get into some bluefin tunas. I'm hoping the exact same for you. Greg King. Sam, what rods could you recommend on a budget?
Just depends on your budget there, Greg. But I mean, there's quite a few rods out there that'll work. I mean, Shimano has some stuff that's around $100. Daiwa as well. You know, you're not going to have as many maybe choices. You may not be able to get like a 9-foot jig stick or something like that in those lines, but they'll definitely have something that you can get. I mean, the Shimano Talavera, the Daiwa Saltist. All great rods that you can definitely do some stuff with. It depends on what kind of fishing you're doing. If you're just fishing the pier, I mean, I got stuff as cheap as $20. So it just depends on what kind of fishing you're doing and what you need it for. But if you come on down to the shop, I can definitely show you all that stuff. Or maybe you even want to pose a question or a comment, maybe a little bit more specific, what you want to need that rod for. Might be able to make some better suggestions.
Thank you so much, Greg, for your astute question. Stan Kwan. Evening, everyone. Heard a rumor that the commercial fishing boat wipe out many of the fish in the summer for recreational boats. Is there any truth to this? Thanks again. That's been cut down quite a bit, actually.
Yeah.
By the elimination of most gill nets. There's still some gill netters out here, and they get a good chunk of it. You know where that's really a problem is Ensenada.
Mm-hmm.
That's where it's a huge problem.
Yeah.
And those guys that run pongas down there, like Arnie Man or Blackfin or any of those guys, Botes Juanitos, they'll all tell you that it's a serious problem down there. They get a shot at like that yellowtail we caught. They're convinced they're going to be wrapping that up that night. So it seems to be a problem. What do you think about here?
You know, it's something that I think I used to remember hearing a lot more. You know, you get the yellowfin, you may catch it for 2 or 3 days, and then you'd see the seiners out there wrapping it up.
Yeah.
It was always a common thing that we'd only get them for a couple of days. Or even the albacore, if they were in close enough, you know, we'd get them, and then maybe 2 or 3 days later, you know, we'd have to wait for some new schools to come through. So I don't hear about that as much anymore, especially this bluefin. You know, with that international kind of stuff that they have, I think that's really changed things a lot. And then also too, from what I understand, is that the market isn't what it used to be, and so a lot of these commercial operations that exist now, I mean, there's things that are fishing them in the middle of the ocean. They have canneries on the boats, and so they're efficient. So it isn't like the videos that you see where they would go out for 10, 12 days or 20 days, and then they come back, and then it would be a cannery on land. It's pretty efficient now. So I don't think we see it as much in our waters as we used to, but I would imagine that they still take, you know, a disproportionate amount per person, but I think it's a little bit not as much as it used to be.
Yeah, and for sure. I mean, you mentioned, but the bluefin tuna fishing is so good now, principally because they cut down that commercial, especially that Mazatlan fleet, which used to fish yellowfin, and then they get their quota of that, come up and wipe the bluefin out, and they are prohibited from doing that now. So that's made a huge difference. And of course, all you guys are old enough to remember back in the 70s, there was no white sea bass around. And then they shut down the gill nets. Buddy of mine, Tom Raftigan, was highly responsible for shutting that down. And man, look at what happened. It's amazing, you know?
I'm going to go grab a jig for the next question.
All right. Sam's going to go get a jig for the next question. I'm going to read the next question. Cue ball, white sea bass, hard to find, easy to catch. How he came up with a jig out of that, I have no idea. I know. It's coming up. It's coming up. Speedy Customs. Good evening, fellas. Sam, do you carry the 250-gram Daiwa FK jigs and 320-gram Sea Falcons? Man, that is a cool name, Sea Falcon. I like that. Woohoo!
So
Sea Falcons.
Those are actually Japanese jigs made in Japan. It's kind of a cool jig, something of a niche thing. But I know that a few years ago, those things were super hot. You know, like we were saying, marketing goes, you know, I mean, we get to the point to where if it's biting today, it's like you can't get enough of them. But yeah, we do got them both. Speedy. I know Speedy's been fishing a lot, man. So I'm pretty sure he was on a trip where those things were hot. So if you want to come on and get some, we got them.
All right, Speed. I met Speedy, right?
Yes, you did. Yeah, you did the chicken dance here.
Yeah, hey, Speedy, you're number one, man. It's good to hear from you again, my friend. Love to see you again. Hopefully that will be really, really soon. And cool granddaddy Abe is laughing about taking a cigarette break, I think, to settle that dispute. Grizzly Trout Fishing, I really enjoy your show. Much appreciated. Thank you. And appreciate all your feedback and info. I have a 2-speed Makaira 20 SEA or C spooled with 100-pound braid. How much leader should I spool and size? 100, 130-pound mono? Question mark.
If it was me, I'd probably just put 100-pound on it. But it also probably depends on what other reels you have. If you have another larger reel, then definitely 100-pound. If that's going to be your biggest reel, I probably would just put 130 on it, especially for this nighttime fishing. So that's the way I would do it. I'd probably put 130 on it.
All right. Thank you so much, Sam. Thank you, Grizzly Trout Fishing. Carlos, hey. Carlos Jeep. Sam, Phil, I have a few more black hole rods, and so far I love them. I made a 3rd-generation Cape Cod rod black hole into a rail rod, 100-pounders, no problema. Line rating 100 to 300 or 80 to 130.
Yeah, I think he's describing what he's got. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Appreciate that. Hang on one second now. And Michael, we're waiting for Chuck to come online. He's not online, so I'll hit him up as soon as I see him on there. Sam? Okay. Don't worry, I got it. Mike got the guns out. Mike, you got your guns out?
Yeah.
All right.
Got guns out.
Abe says, I'd love to take the burger credit, but that was Gus. I bought them drinks and candy.
Oh, yeah. That was Gus.
Oh, Gus, thank you so much, Gus. And Abe, thank you. These guys were great with the kids. You know, buying them food and taking good care of them. And
didn't show that much.
thank you so much. Kim Herbert, my Speedmaster 25 2-speed is such a hard reel to jig with. What would be a better reel to jig with?
That's a tough one there, Kim. I mean, it is a big reel and it is kind of hard to turn the handle, but jigging in general is kind of a work-intensive thing, you know. So if anything, I could say just try to practice, you know. I mean, I use actually an International 30 for some of my jigging, and some people would say that's kind of too big to do that with. But it does take some practice. It takes some practice, not only turning the handle, but just getting familiar with the sides of the reel. I know some guys use some other reels for that. Maybe they're using a smaller reel, but you always kind of like going to be, you know, potentially getting into a reel that's too small. You know, I don't think that the 20, which is the next size down, is going to be any easier. And not sure if it was hard for you to do it because of the size of the reel, or was it just hard to turn the handle? But in general, a lot of these bigger reels are going to have that. So if anything, I could say just do your best to try to practice, you know, winding. One of the things I told a guy one time is, you know, it seems silly, but if you have an empty reel, let's say one full of line, one that's empty, if you just figure out a way to strap the one reel or rod and reel to something and then just basically transfer the line from one to the other, if you just did that once a day, by the time your trip would come, you'd be in pretty good shape. But but that winding action, you know, on a heavy jig, it is a lot of work, you know. So not sure if there's something that's that much easier to wind on that. You know, I know some of the Avets are a little bit easier. some of the internet, the accurate's a little easier too, but not by a whole lot. I think if you're having a hard time because of the winding part of it, it's just going to take some practice.
All right, very good. Thank you so much. Steve Bermudez is back with the cigarette controversy. Right on, Ruben C., especially those cigars. Glenn Del Mundo. Excellent. Thank you for the advice about the cigars. Grizzly trout fishing. What swivels do you use on those Eddie Bomb bite leaders?
You know, it's a heavy duty barrel swivel. I think it's 4.0 size, which like a 600-pound rating. It's kind of what we use on there.
Cue ball. By the way, have I said hello to you, man? What's going on? I mean, we've been carrying on this affair for 40 years. You and I, yeah. Most lures are made to catch fishermen. Laughing out loud. I have to agree. They're actually eating the sinkers, guys. True story. Laughing my you-know-what off.
Yeah.
All right, good stuff. Fishing with Mike. Sam, how much are your asset hooks?
Assist hooks, yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Assist hooks. I threw Mackey's overboard.
Yeah, they're about $11 to $12 a pack there for like a 2-pack. But some of them range a little higher, but they're about $11.
Kim Herbert said the tribute deckhands painted the Eddie Bomb to look like a Sriracha jig.
Yeah, I've seen that too. You know, I mean, it's like anything else. I mean, you got to remember this is a hobby. You know, it isn't like we're trying to perfect something. We're not
Trying to have fun, right?
We're not NASA here that's trying to, do something in a certain way. You know, this is supposed to be fun. So if guys are having fun doing it, using one jig or using a sinker or whatever, I think it's okay. I think sometimes we get too critical about what somebody else is doing, and as long as you're having a good time, I think you're fine.
We should do a Three Stooges jig, you and I, and see if it'll get bit. What do you think would get best, the Mo, the Larry, or the Curly?
The curly.
Yeah, me too. I'm going with that. All right, let's see. Isaac, a.k.a. the Sack. Sam, what's your thoughts on the Penn Fathom 30? You never hear much about that. Isaac, it was great to see you, Connie, and Ethan, and Owen yesterday.
Yeah, Isaac, that's a great reel. I mean, I actually like it a lot. It's got a little bit more line capacity than the 25 narrow. I think a lot of guys fish the 25 narrow just because it's kind of a more slender reel, and I think it kind of just fits most people's perception of what a reel should look like. I think that 30 being a little bit wider, it's kind of not a West Coast thing. Guys want narrow reels out here for the most part. But I fished that reel quite a bit, and I like it a lot. It's the same reel as a 25 narrow, same as a 15 extra narrow, just has a little bit wider spool to hold a little bit more line. And with this big tuna that we're catching, you hook one on 40 pound, you hook 140, 120 pounder, you may need a little bit extra line. So it's not a terrible thing, but I could see where if you were going to choose a reel, you probably would go with that 25 narrow first, and then maybe that 30 would be like the second choice.
All right, very good. Thank you so much, Isaac, for that. I think he has a follow-up question saying where do they fall in line class?
So it's the same, yeah. So it's going to be the same as far as that 25 narrow. It's really like a 40-pound reel, but it can fish 50. So I would say 30, 40, or 50-pound test would be good in that.
All right, thank you so much once again. Carlos G. Sam, Phil, I paint my line different colors, 25 black and 25 feet red before that swivel hits my tip. Or do, as you said, 50 feet of mono.
Yeah, either way, Carlos. As long as you have some way of doing that to where you stop winding before you get to your tip. Now, for me, I'm usually not paying attention too much, so just the feeling of the mono coming through my fingers is what I like. But if you're paying attention, you can see that coming up. I think that's good too.
All right, Tyler Tanaka, Reggie Wynn, and the Mission Bell Mafia in the chat tonight. Hello, Sam, Captain Phil, and the Freeman Adventures family. I'm Captain now. I'm liking that, man. Tony Gonzalez, Springer not for anything above 60 pounds.
Yeah, a lot of guys like that. That's the other one that's kind of similar to that Joe Miller knot. It's kind of a small, compact knot. A lot of guys do like it. I'm just kind of partial to that San Diego knot because I've tied it for a lot of years, but that Springer knot's a good one too. It's like any other knot. The best knot's the one you know how to tie.
125 people watching. Hit that like button. Thanks, everybody, for being here. We really appreciate it. Raul Almaraz, Ruben, just by your own boat, buddy. Is this back to that cigarette thing?
I think so.
Yeah, okay. All right. I don't want to get involved in this mess with these dumb cigarettes. Let's see, where am I now? I got screwed up here.
Yoda Master.
That cigarette threw me for whatever it was.
So Yoda Master was asking the recommendation for the Accurate 800 narrow. That 800 narrow has kind of become one of the more popular jigging reels. It's a larger format reel, a lot of power, lightweight, and a lot of guys are fishing those on the heavier jigging rods. So if you're looking at the Megalodon, be that 608, 609, probably more the 609 in the United Composites, more that 4-power or 5-power rod, whether you're going with a Zeus or a CXJ or one of these new CPXJ rods here. Can't wait to build one of these here. It'd be the same thing, 4 or 5, and I think they have a 6 as well. But bear in mind too that these rods, like, they're not like our other rods where we measure them by line size, where we talk about like a 20 to 50 or 30 to 60. They're really more measured by jig size. And typically with that bigger reel, you're going to be using a bigger jig, something like 300 to 500 grams. So that's why we're using those heavier rods.
All right, good stuff. Lead Reckoning. I would love to see a show on how Sam organizes his tackle for a boat trip. You want to do that, Sam?
It wouldn't be a long video. Usually it's about 20 minutes before the trip leaves. I get all my stuff together.
Start throwing it.
Yeah.
Do you do that because I know why you do? Because
Yeah.
you're so busy at work.
Yeah.
But is there a part of you that does it because you get the latest intel? You know what to bring, or
No, I mean,
you just?
yeah.
I wouldn't say procrastinate. Just busier than heck.
I'm
right?
busy, and typically if I put it together, it's going to get taken apart 5 times. So I already know, kind of what I'm. Even for my 11 day, I don't take a whole lot of time. I'll probably spend more time, maybe rigging up my reels, and putting top shots on those. But as far as the tackle box, I kind of have a set program that I like to use. I would say local fishing, maybe a 3/4 day. I probably would take more time just because that does change a lot more. But unfortunately, it wouldn't be a very exciting video.
Yeah, exactly. All right, Cue Ball says, Cue Ball says, Michael, I see you in the back there. I hope to fish with you guys someday, really soon. Of course, you're going to say, yeah, Cue Ball, I want to fish with you too.
I do want to fish with the cue ball.
Perfect answer. The Japanese gear is usually, Cue Ball says, some really high-end stuff. Really good as a rule. The Japanese don't play.
They don't play, huh?
Don't play around.
Yeah.
You ever been to Japan?
No.
Oh, they don't play around.
They don't?
Oh, no.
What do they do?
Their freaking trash trucks are spotless. Everything in that community is.
They play baseball.
I haven't been to Japan, but guys that went there when I was
yeah.
living in China told me it's fantastic. I want to go to Japan. I definitely do. I had some kids live with us when they were going to college here when I was younger, and so it's a couple Japanese girls. So they're still over there. I talk to them all the time.
Huh?
They don't play.
They don't play around.
No, I said, come on, you don't like cards?
Yeah.
No,
We
don't
know.
play.
Nothing.
Won't play.
Yeah. Video games? Nothing.
Well, they're kind of strict over there. I don't know. Might be that face thing, can't lose face. Or that's
Maybe.
China, isn't it? I think it's both cultures. All right, we got that.
Doug
Doug
is tough.
Tilk, whom I love. Doug is a magnificent guy. He actually sponsored Michael on this trip to make it happen. Before I read Doug's
Doug's the
question,
man.
Doug told the kids, all right, all you got to do is sit in the galley. When my cheeseburger comes off the grill, you get it, and then you bring it up to the bow and give it to me, and you get a $10 bill.
Whoa.
And Michael Emo fell asleep. So one of the other kids, who got it? Ethan Parcells cashed in. I told Doug, I'll do it for $5, man. Get me in on this. He says, hey, everyone, Michael, is that my hat you're wearing? The Paulina hat. Is there anything you want to say about Paulina right now, or have you said it all?
I said it all.
Okay. Wow. Free fishing.
He doesn't play it either.
Oh, you don't play with Paulina?
No.
Paulina loves to fish. Wow. Free fishing, free burgers. Life is good for Michael Limon. Don't forget, you're going to wax my car, LOL. Hey, Dan, Mackie, Sam, and Phil. I was so jealous of Doug looking at his boots. Same boots I bought. He bought here. His are like polished and beautiful. Mine look just like hell. I'm busy too, so
you don't play around.
What happens if you? I do play around. What happens if you throw those in the washing machine? Will it screw them up or will it clean them?
I have no idea. I've never done that. I don't know.
He was cleaning them on the boat.
I know. He's cleaning them on the boat, making me look bad.
Spick and span, that guy.
Trippin' Tommy says, howdy, boys. Trippin' Tommy, how are you, my friend? Great King Sam, what days are you in the shop? Never. Every day.
Every day, just about. Once in a while, I do run an errand, so I might be out for part of the day, but I'm typically here every day. Yeah, unless that barracuda bite, then I might be out for a day.
How do you pronounce this now? Is it Xeno 1?
Xeno 1-1.
Xeno 1-1. Hey, Xeno 1-1. Sam, do you have a 200-gram SK?
I do. I don't think I have all the colors in the 200 size. I think I have most colors, but I think someone today was looking for something that I didn't have by chance. But I do have quite a few.
Matt Pastel is a super great human being. Matt, it's so good to see you. Get Michael a phone book to sit on.
What's a phone book?
Yeah. Really, huh?
So Michael
Yeah,
said,
Matt.
"What's the phone book?" Yeah.
Yeah, this kid just freaking dated us, man. What's a phone book? Like, what's a phone booth?
You ever heard of a phone book?
You haven't, honestly?
I thought it was just a phone in a book.
No. We'll explain it to you later.
Yeah.
You can read in the history books about them.
Yeah.
In the last millennium or so. All right, yeah, good idea, Matt. We'll have to get something else, though, like an iPad or something. AKA the sack. I saw someone took a piece of rebar and cut them up, made them into jigs. They were working on one of the boats.
Yeah. The thing that we get into sometimes, some of this is like, and we doing this to give people advice, so people are always going to ask it this way, but it's, what's the hot jig? What's the hot rig? Meaning, what can you sell me that's going to guarantee me a fish? It doesn't work that way. You want to take a variety of lures, but to prove a point, this guy, I did see that too, that rebar. I think it was like 3 pieces put together that were welded together.
Yeah, Greg King mentioned it also.
Yeah, he put a
Thank you, Greg.
eye on each side. And so, yeah, I mean, at times these tuna are not very picky, and by nature they can be, I mean, these things grow to 1,000 pounds. So they're going to do that by not having a very selective diet. Pretty much if they can get it in their mouth,
Yeah, right?
they're going to try to eat it.
I don't want to offend any of the people out there, but I've heard if you don't have a glow-in-the-dark lure, that a lit cigarette gets bit really well.
Yes.
Yeah, but it gets people kind
The
of...
albacore, sometimes, remember that? You guys would do
Throw a
that.
cigarette
Cigarette
butt.
butt,
Yeah,
they
boil on it.
Yep.
Xeno 1-1 is John Garma.
Oh, Xeno 1-1
Oh.
is John Carson, who's on the Polaris Supreme, and we were supposed to do an interview. And John, I still want to do it with you because
You
it
want it
looks
now?
like you had a
He
great
got
trip.
off Monday.
Looks like you had a great trip, John. Great to see you on here, man. I wish I would have known that before. I would have given you a virtual hug earlier in the show. All right, Oscar Samuel Jimenez Ruiz. Greetings from Turtle Bay, Baja
Paradise.
California, Sur Mexico. Oscar.
The yellow's almost biting there.
Gracias por estar con nosotros, hermano. That's a great place, isn't it, Tortuga Bay?
Yep.
Awesome. Thank you, Oscar. It's so really cool to have you here with us today. Grizzly trout fishing, what's your opinion on putting G assist hooks on a jig? Top or bottom or both? Top and bottom. I hear putting them on the bottom is more successful.
I think that we've kind of gone all the way around on trying to figure out different ways. I think some guys still do top and bottom. I don't think that's a bad thing. I see a lot of pictures of guys posting their fish, and you'll see it where they have it on top and bottom. But I think most guys are just putting them on the bottom, mostly because you can secure the jig to your rod or your reel and not have it kind of swinging around and hitting the side of your reel. But I know some guys that only do it on the top, and that seems to work as just as good. So I think you can kind of do any different way, and that has a lot to do with the way that these tuna eat these jigs. I mean, they literally swallow the whole thing, So you're really not, you're not looking at a situation like a halibut that might kind of rake your bait or something like that, where you would need a trap hook. These tuna are literally swallowing this whole jig, and you got to remember too. This looks like a large item, a jig that's about this size, but some of these tuna, 100-pound tuna, even let alone a 200-pounder, but 100-pound tuna can probably eat a bait that's probably 5 times as big. They can eat probably a 3 or 4 pound mackerel.
Yeah.
So there's no doubt that this is not something that's big to them. So any configuration of hook placement, I think you're going to be fine.
All right. All great questions. Hit that like button. Thanks for being here, everybody. We really appreciate it. All right. Tony Gonzalez, Sam. So I've been reading that 80-pound braid is all you need, along with your bite leader, that when you go heavier, it scopes faster and takes a long time to sink to depth. That's a good point.
Yeah, Tony, the 80 and 100 are very almost identical in size. I would venture to say most brands, not all brands, most brands, if you put those two lines together off a brand new spool, you probably wouldn't be able to tell them apart. So 80 or 100 is probably going to be where you want to be. On the larger reels, you get into like a 30 wide or a 50. That's a lot of lines. So guys do put 130 or maybe even 200, and for sure those bigger lines are going to definitely have that effect. But I would say 80 or 100. The reason I bring that up is that I don't want a guy who has 100 pound on his reel go and throw all that away just to replace it with 80. I think if you have 80 or 100, you're going to be good.
Yep.
Noise.
He's munching on those. What are those things?
He's trying to be quiet.
Chicharrones or what?
Not being very successful.
I know, not being successful at all. Yeah, a lot of free stuff for Michael. It's nice, Maybe someday I'll get a free reel.
Maybe.
You never know.
Yeah. Or if somebody gives you a reel to give to him.
Yeah, I pass it right along.
Pass it right along, yeah.
Of course. I wonder how Paulina likes her new reel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She loves it.
We got to check with her.
She got the yellow tail on, right?
Yeah, I do know. Yeah. It was great. All right. Carlos G. Hey, speaking of Paulina, Phil, I haven't heard Paulina's name at all today. What's up with that? Michael Limon, what's going on with you and Paulina? Well, now you have to stand up and address us. You have her hat on. What would you like to say? Tell this man what is going on with you and Paulina.
Nothing's going on with Paulina. She hasn't talked to me. I followed her on Instagram, on Facebook.
Are you blaming her for that? Or?
Yeah, sounds like it, huh?
Yeah, you're mad at Paulina?
Throwing rocks over here.
Why don't you stand up so Paulina can see you?
She's watching the show right now.
Yeah,
She gave you a hat.
I know. Thank you, Pauline, for the hat.
That's all I can say.
I have a rod and reel for you that I don't really use that much.
Yeah, he was going to throw it out, but you can have it, Paulina.
He threw it out, then he went and grabbed it back and said, hey, I could use this.
Nothing says, I respect you more than I'm going to give you this crap I was going to throw out. We're just trying to help you here now. You have to stand up. You say to Paulina, I'm giving you my favorite rod that I've got many yellowtail on, but I want you to have it. Try that.
No, it's not yellowtail. It's like a surface.
All right, whatever. All right, very good, Michael. All right, there you have it. He's in trouble with Paulina. That's where he is. Who was that? Carlos G, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, by the way, this Thursday night at 7 p.m., Mackie and I, Dan and Michael, Lindsay might be there, Mackie's wife. We're doing a sushi thing at the Redondo Beach Rod and Gun Club.
That's kind of
Yeah, it's going to be at 7 p.m. All you have to do is do a search on the Redondo Beach Rod and Gun Club and be there this Thursday night at 7. You pay at the door, $20. And then this guy's going to teach you how to make all kinds of sushi. And I believe they're going to have a big sushi feast. Can you make it?
This Friday night?
Thursday night.
Oh, man, I can't.
Yeah, Friday night you were clear, right? You thought it was Friday. You had an excuse all planned for that. All right, so if you want to be there, we will be there. Chuck Zimmer.
Oh, is it Redondo? Oh,
Yeah.
I can't. Sorry.
Redondo. At the Redondo Beach Rod and Gun Club. We'll be there. Hope you can all make it. Doug Tilk, I hope you're going to be there for sure. Oh, speaking of Doug Tilk, I remember going to the Starkiss tuna processing plant in San Pedro on a school field trip.
Cool.
They gave us small cans of tuna.
That's cool.
That's a nice memory.
Yeah.
Thank you, Doug. Live free and die free. Sam, is there someone that makes hollow core meter line?
So Iserline, they're making the in 100 and 130, and I believe 200. So, but I think 100 and 130 has been something that we've been stocking. It's a little pricey, but if you want to get some of that, in fact, we just put some on the guy's reel. It's super nice though. It does slice really good, but Iserline is going to be the one for that.
All right, very good. Steve Bermudez, Mackie, lower the camera so we can see the T-shirt, I think. You think he should lower the camera? You think it's a T-shirt?
Yeah.
What do you think?
Well, he's not sure if that's the solution because he's not here.
And Mackie did not lower it. He just moved it backwards,
Yeah.
Steve. So sorry. I hope that doesn't make a difference to you. Thank you, Mackie. We appreciate it. Thank you, Steve, for the great suggestion. Steve, what's his name, is going to be very thrilled about that.
Oropeza.
Steve Oropeza. Yeah, I can't even remember that right now. He cussed me out last night. I won't tell you why. It was funny, though. Dave Clark, regarding Sam preparing for his long-range trips, I love spending a couple of days putting together what gear and tackle to take on an 8 or 10-day trip. That was a comment directed at you guys.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, because you throw your crap together just at the last minute, right? And this man takes some
regarding
time with it.
Sam preparing for his longer students. Yeah, I mean, I shouldn't say I do it in 20 minutes. It feels like it because I'm doing it maybe 20 minutes at a time the last couple of days. But yeah, I wish I had the time to spend because I think that the only thing I would say I would end up going with 4 times more tackle if I did that. So maybe that's the reason that I do it. I think subconsciously I force myself to just wait so that I don't take too much stuff. But even then, even with the 20 minutes, I take twice as much stuff as I need.
Matt Pastel. Matt, good to see you back again. If I were to get reborn, I'd want to come back as Michael Limon. Wow.
Yeah.
Do you believe in that, being reborn?
No.
So, like, maybe in your past life you were a cat with fleas, and then, you're a monkey maybe, and then you become Michael Limon
with fleas.
with fleas? Do you have fleas?
No.
Okay. Well, you've seen that yet. All right, thank you, Matt. Matthew Tamayo. Where is Matthew Tamayo?
Coming up right there.
There he is. Good evening, everyone. Sam, what are your thoughts on the Akuma Kavala 12H, is it? 12.2? Besides drag, are there major internal differences with that and the Alijos 12.2?
I don't know specifically part by part what the differences are, but I will tell you that they do feel a little bit different. So I'm imagining there's probably a few less bearings in there, stuff like that. But that 12.2 has been a good performer. It's definitely a nice reel from them. It doesn't get a lot of attention. I'm not really sure why. It is kind of one of their lower price point reels. It's not as low as I think some of the other brands, but definitely competitive. And it's a nice size reel. It holds a lot of line, actually. That 12. I used to have one before they changed the name. It used to be called the Metalloid 12. And I've caught plenty of 100-pound tuna on it. And so I always thought it was a nice reel. But for sure, you can feel that they're not as smooth as maybe some of the other reels on the market. But it handles the situation pretty good.
All right, my outdoor activity. We jump right to his super chat, $20. Thank you so very, very much. We really appreciate that. We'll go to our wing feast tonight, and I really appreciate you doing that, my friend. And if that's a YouTube channel or something we can plug for you, please let me know. I have an Akuma Kavala 5. What can this little palm size reel? What is it capable of? I have it spooled with 50-pound braid backing. How big of a tuna or yellowtail or any other species of fish can my little tiny itsy bitsy reel slay? And thank you again very, very much.
So yeah, that's the smallest reel of that line. They do have actually also a 5 narrow, which is even smaller, and it's about the same size as all the other small format reels that every other brand makes. So whether it's a Talica 8 or Fathom 10 or something like that, they're all really nice reels. The only thing you're going to run into possibly is going to be a line capacity issue, but no, I mean that reel will probably handle a 50, 60-pound tuna, no problem. And I think it'll, if you put braid on there, it probably has 50-pound braid. You probably have about 300 to 350 yards or something like that. So you definitely have enough line on there to catch a nice size fish. The only thing that I would consider it being a little bit undergunned, maybe the drag, but even then, it's probably got enough drag to do most things.
All right, excellent. Doug, Ruben El Sueño. Hey, guys, the kelps, yeah, they are, man. They're loading up with big yellowtail now. Let's go fishing. Some of those boys are starting to get some kelps with some good hits, like 40 fish off it.
Nice.
And they're nice, Sam. They're like 12 to 20-pound fish. So thank you, Doug, for reminding us all about that. That is great news. And what are we, about 2 weeks away from that wide open albacore bite?
Yep, 2 weeks. Yep.
Yeah.
It's on the calendar.
July 10th.
Yeah.
Yeah, did you see it?
Yep.
They're not coming back.
Yeah, they're coming back. You're starting to sound like Scott
I looked at
Bucher.
my phone book to see where it was.
Oh, the phone book that Michael's not sitting on.
Yeah.
All right. And Doug says, hey, Sam, do you sell those tungsten jigs, the heavy ones, not the light tungsten jigs? I hear those are the hot ticket now.
Yeah, some guys have been having some success with them for sure, but no, I don't have any, Doug, sorry.
Kim Herbert says, hot jig, table knives, wrenches, and hex steel bars.
Exactly.
LOL. Pretty much, Kim. That's what we're starting to get here. Tony Gonzalez, that rebar with some WD-40 hot jig for sure. Man, we got to try all that stuff, Tony. That's good stuff. Hey, Hal, good to see you. Good evening, all. Hey, Sam, what size are those trebles on the Eddy bombs?
So this is that I think it's a 6X hook from Mustad.
And I think these are 6.0.
All right, very good. Kim Herbert says that some San Diego boats won't let you use bottom assist hooks.
Yeah, I mean that's it's a boat to boat thing. It might even be a crew to crew thing. So the reason that they're doing that is purely for safety. Especially if you have a situation where a boat has maybe had a couple guys get hooked on those big tuna coming over the rail. They're definitely going to be gun shy on letting you just put them anywhere you want. So definitely listen to the crew. And once again, wherever they're having you put them, they still want you to catch fish. It isn't like they don't want you to catch fish. So I would say that whatever recommendations they make, you're going to be in good shape.
All right, Zachary Chen has a great question. Zachary, great to have you with us tonight. Thank you for joining us. Hey, y'all, I'm bringing some friends on their first boat trip on the Native Sun this weekend out of 22nd Street Landing in San Pedro. What are some tips you have for first-time beginners learning to fly by line and use conventional gear?
Yeah, so I would say start practicing right now.
Yeah.
If you can,
or get them a spinning outfit.
Get them a spinning outfit will probably be the best solution for sure for them to catch fish. As far as learning how to fly line, you just got to do it a lot. So if that's the only chance you have to do it, I would say do your best, but you might want to back that up by having a nice spinning outfit for them to have some more fun.
All right. Once again, our thanks to My Outdoor Activity for being so kind and generous. Mitchell Halibut Man says Michael looks like a little Hulkster with his sleeves rolled up. Did you do the sleeves rolled up thing for Paulina?
Yeah.
You did? Wow, that's a good move, I think. Good job.
Wearing the hat and everything.
Wearing the hat and everything. Great king. Ask Michael if he knows what a rotary phone is, Phil. You know what a rotary phone is?
Is it a phone on the road?
A phone on the road. No? You ever see like when the Three Stooges are making phone calls on those old phones?
Oh yeah, those little spinning.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, there it is.
How do you dial 911 on those?
You 911.
Yeah.
What the hell? It's the same way you dial 320. 320. There's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 0. So how do you dial 90 on it?
9.
Yeah, 94. That's how you do it. Okay. What are you talking about? All right. No, he doesn't know, Michael. Joseph Hernandez. Hey, I'm looking for a new rod for my Akuma Cortez 12. What would you recommend?
Something that's a pretty good size conventional reel. Something in like a 7 to even 9 foot. That could be even a good jig reel, but 7 to 9 foot, maybe 30 to 60 pound is probably what I would recommend for that. Any brand that you like, but that'd be right in there. Probably an 8 footer would probably be what I would recommend the highest, but you can even go 9 foot if you want to use it as a jig reel.
All right, good stuff. Cue Ball used to dial 976 tuna on a rotary phone. That's how old that thing was. Back in the mid-'80s when that started. Graham Sulik, Fishing Rod Building and Repairs. That's a good friend of yours, right?
Yep, Graham.
Sam showed the... I'm guessing there's going to be something down below
blanks,
here.
Yeah. The blanks.
The blanks.
Yeah.
Yes, Sam, show the
Those are the ones
blanks.
I was talking about earlier, guys. I mean, super cool blanks. It's going to be a new product from United Composites here. Kind of like hard to really show much about them here in the picture, but these are going to be, we got pretty much the first ones that came off the lot. They are a GPXJ 6402, 3, 4, and 5. We got them all here in stock. These are going to be kind of a new style of jigging rod that has a little bit more backbone. Also wanted to show off some rods that we normally don't have here is some rods from Moon, some custom rods. So if you guys are Moon rod fans.
The Moonster.
Yeah, he's got some pretty cool stuff.
La Luna.
Hold those up, man. Got a couple of heavy rods, like rail rods. Woo.
Luna Mania.
A couple of like 30 to 50 pound rods.
Just pile them up on Michael.
There you go.
Good job, Mike. Oh, wow. Look at those guns.
Even this cool spinning rod here. So if you guys are looking for a cool custom rod, if you were to order a rod from Moon right now, you may not have it until next year. So this is kind of a cool opportunity to get a rod from Moon.
Oh, they're down. Oh, yeah. That's cool.
Yeah, they're done, ready to go. So if you guys are looking for a rod for the season, these things are beautiful and true to his workmanship. So come down and check them out at least.
All right, good stuff, everybody. Thank you for the great questions, Michael. Thank you for being such a great sport here tonight with us. And Moon, man, you got to check his stuff out. Come down and get one of those while you can. My Outdoor Activity says, love your show, love your content. Thank you so very much. Means a lot. Next week will be on my first 3-day trip on the Pacific Queen, July the 5th. Man,
That is
best
awesome.
of luck to you. I really hope you get them. And you are on one heck of a good rig, man. That crew on the Queen is awesome. So hopefully you'll get it done. Kim Herbert, can Michael read cursive? You know what cursive is?
No.
Go give me a paper and a pen and bring it over here, and I'll write something out. See if you can read it when you get back. All right. Why not? Right?
Dangerous.
No, I'm not writing anything like that. Let's see. No, you've got the very first ones. Okay, Tony Gonzalez. Sam, a Daiwa BG 5000 with 50-pound braid on a MH rod. What would be okay for school size yellow?
Oh, for
what
sure,
the
Tony.
hell is this? Give me a regular piece of paper.
For sure, Tony. You know that would BG 5000 is a great reel. I think it'll probably hold at least 300 yards of that 50-pound. And it's in fact, we just pulled up one up for a guy today. Yeah, that'd be perfect for school size yellow. Even up to like a 25-pound yellow, it'll be no problem.
All right, very good question. Graham is back. No one else has him, not even me. Oh,
yeah,
wow.
so he works.
Is that
at,
Moon or what?
No, that's Graham. He works at United Composite.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, this is a brand new project. In fact, Graham had even some input in kind of building those. Some of the guys from the East Coast, I think there's Johnny Jigs. They kind of had some input as well. So this is just a new style of rod, a new style of jigging rod for us out here.
All right. Let's see. It looks like Danny Illustri. Hey, Danny.
Hey,
It's
Danny.
great to see you. Danny's on that 8-day trip with us in November. Great show. Thank you, Phil and Sam. Danny, you're the man. Thank you so much. Once again, Danny was the first guy that Mark
Yeah, that's
Paisano
right.
handed little Desiree to. So I don't want to tear him up because he tears up when he hears that. Cue ball. Mike looks like he's almost ready for a 3-day with all those rods.
Yeah.
Yeah, you look like you're ready to go fishing, Michael. Carlos G. Dios mío, Miguel Limon. You remind me of myself when I was about your age. Always heartbroken. But once I turned 12, I had them on the run. LOL. So true. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Are you heartbroken? You're not heartbroken because you still have a chance with Paulina, right?
Yeah.
What's going on with that?
I don't know.
All right.
So Doug here is asking
Go
if you
ahead.
have any
Boy, Sam wants to
fishing
move this show
syndicate
along.
rods. And we do, Doug. We have a selection of their stuff: 8-foot bait rods, a couple of rail rods, and a couple of jig sticks too. So if you want to come down and check those out, we have them here in stock.
All right, very good. There is the cursive that I wrote. Can people see that, do you think, Mackie? And then I'm going to ask Michael to read it, see if he can read it. Okay? Sam?
Johnny Carson show.
Let you
Yeah.
see it? Yes? Can you read that?
Three Stooges.
The Three Stooges! Congratulations! Whoever asked if Michael can read cursive, he can.
What does he win?
Chicken wings. Woo! Chicken wings. All right. Man, I thought we were out of this thing. Here comes a few more questions. You tried to head it off, and look what happened. All right. Let's see. Do you guys have fishing syndicate rods? Doug L. Ruben Swain wants to know.
I asked him. I answered that already.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Sam, any information you can share on the durability of the new Lexa 500 thus far?
You know,
Tyler Tanaka.
the only thing I
Thank
would
you,
say
Tyler.
is we haven't had any come back for sure. We sold a whole bunch of them when they first came out. Haven't had any come back. I think we're barely going to start getting the true tests on them. Guys using them for some of this local tuna, local yellowtail. So I don't think they've really been put to the test quite yet. But the guys who have used them and caught fish on them have been doing great. And I know some guys actually did use them down in Cedros. Caught some nice yellowtail on them. I saw a video. I think there's a Dan Hernandez video. One of the guys actually bought the first one for me. I saw him caught like a 50-pound tuna on that trip on that reel. So far from what I've seen, which is just a limited sample, they've been doing just great. But I think here in the next week or so, the next couple of weeks, you're going to see a lot of guys posting some pictures with them.
Anybody around here have anything for a really bad headache?
Wings.
Wings.
You have a bad headache?
Yeah, I've got a horrible headache.
That's an Advil.
You do?
Yeah.
Can I get some from you later?
Yeah, as soon as the show's over.
Oh, man. Hey, bye, everybody. Just kidding. All right, let's see. Tyler Tanaka, we already got, right? Danny Lester. So I've been on a mission to get 40 plus halibut. Went out 3 times lately, and altogether still doesn't add up to 40. Got 2. I'm over it. Time for yellowtail and calico bass for me. Good luck, Danny. Cue ball. So what's the best sinker rig?
That's a good one, Cue Ball.
Love you, Cue ball. Halibut man. Mitchell, I was supposed to be watching TSC, Tackle Shop Confessions, but looks like it's a Three Stooges episode. Thanks for taking the time and keeping us fishing junkies updated. Mitchell, you're number one. Drink plenty of water too, Phil. Yeah, Matt, they say when you're having headaches, if that's what you're referring to, more than likely you're dehydrated. So I will take your advice when we go over there and drink plenty of that. Doug L. Ruben Swain, when is Paulina going fishing with you guys? So we were working that out. I think she's got to get her time approved, but somewhere around August 23rd to the 26th or the 22nd, sometime in that time frame, we're going to go fishing. We're going to have a meet and greet here at Island Fishing Tqckle. We're going to do a dinner, end of summer dinner. Chuck Zimmer doesn't know this yet at the Redondo Beach Rod and Gun Club, but we're doing it at the Redondo Beach Rod and Gun Club. Wow. We're going to be doing just worldwide stuff. Would you like to escort her from place to place? Make sure she's safe.
Yeah.
Make sure she's comfortable. You need water, Paulina. Watch out. That guy looks like a weirdo, like your grandpa. You get away from him. Stuff like that. Okay, you're hired. We got you. All right, Graham is back and says, hope Phil is kidding. If not, hope. Oh, no. I've been sick for like 2 weeks, Graham. Do you have a violin you can start playing right now?
I know.
Yeah. But I've been going for it, man. Three Stooges, headache relief. Sam, use the hammer.
Yeah.
That is very true, Kim. I think we've reached the end. I hate to break your heart, man.
It's over.
You know, when you start reading questions, when I start lagging behind, man, you run out of here. I can tell. Hey, everybody, thanks so much. Sam, why don't you tell everybody where they can find you at Island Fishing Tqckle?
So we're at 21809 Avalon Boulevard, city of Carson. We're here Monday through Saturday, 10 to 6.
All right, very good. And I've been voicing over the morning briefing. I'll get back to the real morning briefing Thursday morning. I've just been VOing it because I'm actually house sitting for a guy, feeding his chickens.
Really?
He's got chickens. Yeah. So he didn't want his chickens to die. And I've been robbing all the eggs, and they're really good, man, fresh eggs. But I'll be doing that. But I will be with the morning briefing tomorrow. We got a lot to talk about. There's a lot of great stuff going on. Steve Bermuda says, or Kim Herbert says, or no, Steve Bermuda says, and if you put a treble hook on the back of an electronic cigarette, the smoke imitates a squid squirting ink. I like that.
Could be.
Cool granddaddy. Great show, fellas. And last word on those nasty smokers, unless they're absolute a-holes, don't be afraid to ask us to move. We won't be offended unless, like I say, they're idiots. Okay, getting the last lick in. Cue ball. Wob, wob, wob. Moat Larry Curley. Good night, everybody, says Cue ball. Tony Gonzalez, Phil, get some coffee. Tony, I'm going to take your advice. Steve Bermudez, better get tested for COVID. The headache is a sign of COVID. I've got COVID. I've got COVID.
Stop it.
What the hell do you do different when you have COVID than when you have the flu, Steve? I don't think
Scares me.
anything. All right, did I scare you?
No.
Oh, I didn't think so. All right. This is COVID Phil for Sam De La Torre and Michael Limon saying, have a great night, everybody. I'll see you in the morning for the morning briefing. Thanks again for joining us on Tackle Shop Confessions. Hit that like button. All right, Sam.